I got some flour on my pants.
Flour.
We made a pizza.
I saw that.
It was good. I was
Was
surprised.
it homemade dough or did you? No. Cool.
Yeah, we made it ourselves.
Did you use that Greek yogurt recipe or whatever for the dough?
No, we just did flour and water and yeast.
Cool. It was
I
good.
think that's all. Yeah, it was surprised. I was surprised. I thought it was going to turn out like shit.
So yeah, there's a protein recipe that I'm intrigued by because it uses Greek yogurt, an egg, and something else. But anyway, I'm just kind of curious if that would.
If it would like hold together.
Not even hold together. I just want hold up in terms of is it a decent pizza or not
yeah.
for a healthy pizza. I saw a chicken crust the other day too that was canned chicken and egg and something else.
I mean, if you're just going to do that with like sauce and cheese.
I mean, that's no different than a cauliflower crust with a Parmesan and egg.
Yeah.
It's just probably better than cauliflower because
Cauliflower sucks.
chicken doesn't always taste like butt. And cauliflower does.
Cauliflower is pretty gross. I've only had it like in mixed vegetables and stuff, and it never tastes good. I've never had cauliflower that actually tastes good.
I can handle some cauliflower. Nuke's cauliflower crust is dope.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's still a little farty, but it's the texture. The texture's so, because I'm a thin crust pizza guy, the texture's fucking excellent. So I can get over a lot of things for texture a lot of the time.
That's fair.
So,
I don't know.
Domino's gluten-free is elite too, but I think it's rice and cornmeal. I don't think there's any cauliflower in it.
That would make sense, yeah. They probably like grind up the rice and like make it really fine.
Yeah.
Make it like powder.
I use like rice pasta and stuff, so.
Yeah. I used to. I just don't like the texture of rice pasta.
It doesn't hold up together, yeah.
If
But
you
it doesn't taste any different. It just doesn't hold up together.
If you use, well, I don't know, the ones I had where it was like spaghetti was terrible. Like the texture and the taste were both terrible.
Rotini.
Yeah, the rotini one isn't that bad. It's about the same.
Lasagna noodles it doesn't matter because it gets broke up with a fork anyway. You know what I mean? They're so big. So we use those for everything. And I've been using them for years. I'm not even sure that I'd
notice a difference.
Yeah. At
that point.
Oh.
Is that our intro before the intro? Talking about cauliflower and...
Yeah.
Cauliflower tastes like... TLDR, cauliflower tastes like butt. That's all you need to know. That's the only thing
I feel like the only thing that should taste like butt is in fact butt. And that's about it.
There's some cheeses that taste like butt.
Yeah, I mean, they smell like it anyway.
I'm sure they taste very similar to the way they smell.
I mean, I've never had cheese that tastes like a dirty penny.
I'm sure some ladies have.
Probably.
That's
Jesus. Good.
Well, ladies, if you know what dick cheese tastes like,
please
keep it to yourselves because we really don't want to know. That's disgusting.
Now I'm thinking Arby's. All right. Hey guys, welcome to the Sip It and Rip It podcast, where we talk about various types of Munda cheese that we don't deal with. So, if you'd be so kind as to rate us 5 stars on Spotify, we'd appreciate you. You can follow me under, what is it? At ZG Summer Shred Journey.
Underscore
Summer Shred Journey. And you can follow him at Nathan Schedio's podcast at Sip It and Rip It.
With the letter N, no and.
Yeah, we spelled it like we say it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sip and Rip It.
Sip it and rip it, baby. And then we're drinking. This was a idea we had earlier. We were drinking black rum old fashions.
Mm-hmm. And they are quite tasty.
Yeah, if you're wondering, we should start sharing recipes when we actually make drinks.
We really should.
This is Cruzan black rum. Mm-hmm. Is that correct? I forget. It was a special bottle, though. It's like age different or something like that. I don't remember what it was.
I think it was barrel aged, but I can't remember.
Barrel aged. Well, anyway, it's Cruzan black rum, chocolate bitters instead of orange bitters, and agave simple syrup.
Mm-hmm. Very simple.
Very simple.
But very good. It's kind of like
outstanding.
Really, like I was surprised. I mean, when I first got the bottle of the black rum, I got it because I was like, it was like $13. And I was like, I'll give it a shot for $13. Like, the last time I had black rum, it was that Kraken, and I was like, this is garbage. But for $13, I was willing to give it a shot. And the first time I had it, I just mixed it with some Dr. Pepper Zero, and I was like, this is actually pretty good. Like, I could taste the rum, and it had that caramely, smoky taste, like the Shanky's Wit. We were talking about that before as we made it. Yeah. It's very similar to that. So shout out to Cruzan.
Yeah, it's fucking
they're like
good.
They're like a mid-shelf brand too.
Yeah, it's not a super good brand of rum. Like most of the time, if what is it? Is it Appleton Estates typically the best rum? Most of the time, the best spice rum you can buy. I think it's Appleton. It's real Jamaican spice rum. It's good. But yeah, this is great. I'll say this drink, if you're interested. Do you remember the Whitman samplers people give at Christmas? Okay, there's one in there that is milk chocolate with it has a maple syrup center, and it reminds me of Christmas.
Yeah,
that's what this tastes like. To me.
That's fair. I can kind of see that.
It tastes like milk chocolate and maple syrup together. It's fucking good.
Which I guess makes sense because the Cruzan's very, very caramely,
chocolatey kind of
chocolate bitters.
Definitely that palate though.
Yeah.
The chocolate bitters is obviously very chocolatey because
it's chocolate.
It's chocolate bitters. So I don't know what I'm tasting, what's what, but it definitely tastes like those little milk chocolate covered maple candies that you get at Christmas. Pretty solid. Yeah, it's a little bit of a Christmassy drink because of that.
Yeah, I could kind of see that.
The spices in the rum too.
Yeah. You see that.
It's not nutmeggy and clovey in a way.
Yeah.
And then it's just super sweet. So
it is super sweet.
That's that. And the fact that it's a little like smoky kind of makes it mapley a little bit too.
Yeah.
Like woody, I guess. If that makes sense. Good. It's good. Solid shit. Probably one of the best drinks we've made off the cuff ever. This was completely made up.
So, yeah, because the old fashioned with Shanky's Whip was pretty much just a regular old fashioned. We just used Shanky's Whip. But, which, I mean, this is pretty similar, but we changed a couple things. But, yeah, pretty good.
The biggest change is we use chocolate bitters instead of orange bitters. But it's great.
And the blue agave instead of regular simple syrup. But I don't know how much that affected it.
I don't think there's much of a taste difference.
It's really just a sweet syrup. So.
Yeah. It's fucking thick. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet.
It is.
But it's great.
Yeah, I could probably get drunk off of these and never drink them again.
Yeah, one of those.
Just like you drink.
Once you puke it up, it's over with.
Yeah, probably so. But.
So yeah, I hate to start the podcast out with a story, but my wife can attest to this. When we were kids, we're probably about 19. Me and her started living together, and we had a party, or not just a small party. We had absolute fucking ragers every weekend. And somebody said something about making a mixed drink called an apple pie slammer, and it's supposed to be a shot. It's supposed to be. This is the 19-year-old kid in me is about to come out. And that's the way they started, but they were delicious. So an apple pie slammer is 1 part apple juice, one part spiced rum, specifically Captain Morgan. So 1 part Captain Morgan, one part apple juice, and then cinnamon sugar on top to garnish. And it tastes like an apple pie. It's called an apple pie slammer. Well, after 10 of those a piece across party wide, we decided that we needed to start making them by the glass. Full 20 ounces of liquor and apple juice. Well, it's a wonder nobody shit themselves that much apple juice. But what I will tell you is they made everybody extremely sick. And we literally had like 10 or 12 people, like various parts of our property and inside of our house, like sitting and like, including ourselves, with like trash bags in front of us. Like,
oh man.
It was a vomit party. Like the whole party. Everybody's puking. Everybody's got their own trash bag. So we're all just laid up on the furniture, just like head in trash bags, puking this shit up. I don't think any of us made it to midnight that night. Like it took us out pretty quick.
That sounds like it. But I guess that much liquor, I mean...
I think it was the apple juice, man.
Oh, really?
I drank a lot of liquor in my lifetime. Like I don't recall to this day. I've been pretty sick a few times. I don't recall to this day being sicker than I was.
Man, apple juice bad for you.
Apparently, and I mean, I don't think it's any worse for you than liquor. Don't get me wrong, but like, I definitely think in large doses it becomes pretty damn toxic. Apparently,
so don't drink a whole container of apple juice.
Yeah, And another one regarding this drink, talking about it tasting like maple. You know, I may have told the story before, but I was out playing a show when I was about 17, and we were playing with a bigger band that was on tour, and they were really cool. They were from Alabama too, but me and their lead singer got into a maple syrup chugging contest. And both, I didn't. Sadie can witness this. It's been recently that I've been able to eat pancakes and waffles and stuff again with maple syrup on them because like I just couldn't. But me and him both chugged 64 straight ounces of maple syrup.
No.
And I'll be honest with you. At that time, I was really thin. I'm not like I am now. I probably weighed about 170 pounds. I think that's the closest to death I've ever been. Is after chugging that. I really do think I almost gave myself like some type of diabetic, like
just like clogging every artery inside you.
So I'm almost think that I had some like terrible adverse reaction to that sugar, and I don't remember. Didn't have a drop of alcohol. It was at the time I was playing in a Christian band. Believe it or not, that's another story for another day. And we were playing in a church, so like there was no alcohol involved. I don't remember anything after my lips left the bottle of maple syrup. I remember feeling like shit, but I don't remember anything about that night outside of that, and haven't for years.
I feel like I would have gotten so sick.
It was bad.
Like vomit, just like curled up.
You know, that's probably
pain,
that really probably was a solid 6,000 calories of maple syrup, like straight to the gullet that I drank in 45 seconds.
Man.
I don't know. That's a lot of fucking maple syrup.
I don't know that I could chug maple syrup.
The texture was awful.
Yeah.
And it's cheap too, because we were in Rimlap, Alabama. It's a little country town, much smaller than Coleman, playing at a church. And the only thing in sight to find this maple syrup was a Dollar General, of course, because there's a Dollar General every half mile if you live in the country.
Yeah.
So I think it was like Aunt Jemima's or like Mrs. Butterworth or something like that. Like,
that thick stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't like real maple syrup. It was like,
cornstarch.
Corn syrup and maple flavoring. You know what I mean? Like, so basically, I chugged a bunch of Cairo. Basically, it is what it is. Yeah, 10 out of 10 would not recommend. That's a bad fucking time, dog.
Yeah, I believe it. I wouldn't do it. I've never really done anything crazy in my life, but if the craziest thing like close to that was a pancake eating contest, and I was like halfway in it, I was like, fuck this. My stomach hurts. I'm not gonna get sick over this. Like that was probably the most maple syrup I've ever
Me and Justin have never explicitly had an eating contest, but I feel like when me and him were training together and eating together pretty often, I feel like there was a couple of times where it was unspoken and we just like
just eating and like
dude, I swear to God, me and him have sat and ate like, we've had like $200 bills worth of sushi by ourselves, not including our spouse's bill. So like,
right.
I've probably ate 6-7 rolls in a sitting before with him. That's a lot of money in sushi.
Yeah.
For the record, that's a lot of money.
I don't know sushi
money.
that well. I don't eat sushi
God.
personally. But.
God, I love it. But yeah, that guy can put some food down. Hey, how about this? This is another tangent, but it's kind of going to be that kind of episode, right? The boy puts sugar and scrambled eggs in his white rice. I think he puts butter too.
I feel like you could do one or the other, but both is like weird. Like I could see you doing eggs and rice.
I mean, I want to know if there's a trick to it because that's literally the strongest human pound for pound I know. Like, do I need to be eating white sugar and white rice? Like, somebody tell me. Like, is that the key to all of this? Like,
I mean, that's a lot of carbs. I guess
they're all fast carbs though.
Yeah.
They're not going to sit around very long. So, scrambled eggs, sugar, and white rice.
That sounds like a bad time.
It does. Boy eats it though. He likes what he likes. It is what it is.
Whatever floats your boat. That's all I gotta say. I'm picky about certain things. So
there's a lot of food that floats my boat, dog. My boat is floated.
It's food.
Yeah, we don't dry dock shit around here, man. We're like straight up. We in the water all the time.
Oh man, that was some pretty good tangents. I think we covered our small talk.
Yeah, we did. What about PR songs?
PR songs. So I've got a couple. First one is Ill Conceived by Organectomy. I was listening.
Organectomy's cool.
They are badass. I was listening to them. This song specifically, I was on shuffle, so I was just listening to whatever was coming on. I'd skip if I wasn't vibing with it. But this came on. I think it was this week in the gym, and I was just like, man, this is killer. Just like, and it was my deload week, so I wasn't really doing anything crazy, but I was just like jamming to it the whole time, and it was solid.
Hell yeah. I could be about it. I like Working Acme a whole lot.
Yeah.
My first one's a rap song. I think this is the second rap song I've done in a couple of weeks. That's okay. But it's off of Killer Mike's new EP. The name of it's Don't Let the Devil. It's fucking awesome. You should listen to it. I'm a super big fan of Killer Mike. I like a lot of his shit. I got a Killer Mike tattoo. But it's really fucking good. Not sure if you'd be into it or not. But Killer Mike, whether he means to or not, typically it's a darker vibe than a lot of rap, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
He's very serious man and takes his job, seriously too. He's very fucking good at it. But it's good. It's good. Good EP. But that song in particular, "Don't Let the Devil," fucking awesome. So that's
cool.
it.
I'll give it a shot. I got one more, and it is "Death and Rebirth" by Dead to Fall, and that's like kind of my childhood. Like, the Phoenix Throne came out when I was like just getting into metal, and that whole album I actually really enjoy. But there's something about that song, the way he wrote lyrics, and I forget his name. He would either be like super like off the wall and goofy, and like the whole fourth album, I can't remember what it's called. It's like "Are You Serious" or something. It's like super off the wall, random, trying to be goofy and stuff. But most of the albums prior to that were really, really interestingly written, and that's one of the reasons why I like that song specifically.
Hell yeah. So I'm taking it back to my childhood, and I'm older than you, so this is going to date me a little bit. But
that was when I got into metal, not my childhood.
That's fair.
It was like teenager.
This is definitely childhood though, for me. I guess I probably would have been 4 or 5 years old when this song came out, and I remember my dad specifically listening to this band a lot. But it's "Them Bones" by Alice in Chains. It's off the album Dirt, probably the greatest grunge album of the era, in my opinion. Some Soundgarden fans that disagree, but Alice in Chains is much more listenable across the board than Soundgarden. I like Soundgarden too, but
they're fine, but they're not Alice in Chains.
No, Alice in Chains is fucking better. I mean, that's all there is to it. Alice in Chains fans are better. Everything about Alice in Chains is fucking better. But yeah, "Them Bones" by Alice in Chains. I almost said Wood, only because I'm rewatching all the Marvel Netflix stuff. It's all on Disney now, but Wood pumps me up now. It never pumped me up before, but it pumps me up now because it was on the trailer for the second season of The Punisher. The first season of The Punisher was a song that's already on the PR playlist, was "One."
Yeah.
And it's by Metallica. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But "Them Bones" by Alice in Chains, that opening fucking riff, the chromatic thing, really fucking simple, but it's just mean as fuck. I think, man, they're hard to fucking outdo. When Alice in Chains is heavy, they're fucking heavy.
They are heavy,
They're
honestly.
before their time in a lot of ways, man.
Yeah.
Like, really fucking heavy. But, yeah, "Them Bones" by Alice in Chains.
Yep. So, I guess that leaves the last thing, Jim, this week. I'll go ahead and start just because mine was super simple.
Okay.
I deloaded, so I did not do much at all.
That's fair.
It was a very easy week. That's all I got to say about it.
That's what it's supposed to be, baby. That's it. That's the way it's supposed to be. Mine is still pretty easy. I restarted all my barbell stuff. I am about to start squatting about 200 pounds again, which is, obviously still sub 50% for me.
Yep.
Just trying to get back in the groove with it, correct some technical things while I'm not really able to lift heavy on squat. And on bench press, I'm bad about cuffing. So if y'all don't know what cuffing is, it's when you bench press with your wrist bent.
Yep.
So what I'm trying to do now, while bench press is light for me, I don't have no injury in keeping me from benching heavy, but I'm trying to rectify that and press with a straight locked wrist. Immediately, it's hard to tell without the weight being heavy, but immediately on the lighter weight, and this is all weight, the weight that I'm benching now, I could do for 70 reps in a single set probably. So, like, I think tomorrow's bench press is like 160. So
Right.
like.
Nothing.
So I'm literally rebuilding this thing. Like, I'm doing it for technical purposes. But, so it's hard to tell, but I feel like my feelings on it is that I have more power pressing with a vertical wrist than I do cuffed.
That makes sense though, right? Because when you're cuffed,
it's over your front delt as opposed
Right.
to being over your chest. Yeah, and obviously your chest is the prime mover, right?
So being able to activate more.
Fixing the
of your chest,
cuffing, I'm back deadlifting again. Ironically, I was having a lot of lower back pain. I go back to deadlifting and all my lower back pain's gone. So I don't know what that says, but
It doesn't says that deadlifts are bad for your lower back.
it doesn't say that. That's for sure. Evidently, that was the fix I needed. I've always said, and I've heard doctors say this, but a strong back is a healthy back. So deadlift, people. Deadlift with good form. Deadlift often.
Good form,
so,
please. Don't be one of those people that I used to be.
I mean, shit. I mean, I'm built like Quasimodo. My deadlift's only going to look so good. You know what I mean? It's always kind of going to look like shit. But, yeah, I mean, deadlift with good form to the best of your ability. And, man, it really does. I don't know. Feels like it set me straight for some reason. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why, but that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. Outside of that, it's mostly bodybuilding stuff. In and out of several gyms. Planet, my own gym, Hartsel Fitness. Trying to stay on top of it. The good thing about Planet is they have back attack machines, like for your lower back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I really like those. It's a really way more comfortable than a reverse hopper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they're seated and it's just got the roller on it sets on your back and it folds you forward, and then all you got to do is just extend back. Yeah, I mean, strongman use them. That's a big accessory movement in strongman.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, but I really like that. I don't like Planet. That's I told a friend of mine the other day, Trent. We were talking about it. Planet Fitness feels like Walmart, where I'm more like Whole Foods. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like the people in Planet Fitness and working out and stuff like that. Like 75% of them are there to be seen, and the other 25% are kind of plain white trash. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like, I mean, it's so uncommon for me to see dudes in gloves now in a gym, and you walk in the Planet and like every dude's got gloves on. Dudes would be gripping the treadmill like the heart rate monitor with gloves on. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like,
you know how that thing works?
That's not how that works. They fucking wear gloves for everything in there, dude. Like the dumbbells only go to 75 pounds. Like that's not gonna hurt your hands, bro. Like, calm down.
It might if they got some prissy hands.
That's what to say. Like, damn, I know it can be done, and obviously I'm a smart personal trainer, and I can figure it out. But it would be creatively challenging to make somebody strong that goes to Planet Fitness regularly.
Yeah,
we'd be doing a lot of goblet squats. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, because they don't have barbell. They have
Smith
a Smith
machines.
machine.
Yeah, Smith machines only. Be doing a lot of calisthenics and a lot of dumbbell work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So clients, beware if you're at Planet.
You're not going to get strong.
Well, I'm not saying you're not going to get strong.
You're less likely to get strong.
Yeah, and you're going to get a heavy eye roll from me before I program anything and send it over. But, I mean, you could absolutely do it, but not without some concessions.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Barbell is king. So
barbell is king. It is.
Go somewhere that doesn't have a barbell, you kind of losing out on a lot. I don't know. Even when it's crazy because even when I first started going to the gym, I knew that you needed to work on a barbell, and I knew nothing.
Yeah,
I was just like, you're supposed to bench press. Like I knew you were supposed to bench press, squat, and deadlift.
Yeah.
I didn't know how you were supposed to do them or how to do programming or anything like that, but I knew you were supposed to do all those movements.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you could definitely make somebody strong in there, but it would take some creative thing. And I think that what made me realize is how versatile a barbell is and how much variety you actually get out of a barbell.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of stuff you can do.
You can even use it in unconventional ways. I mean, I've used it for, you've probably seen people hang a kettlebell and a band from it for grip strength training. Put it in a landmine for rows, for shoulder presses and stuff like that. So even just like an empty barbell is a pretty fucking good tool.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. There's so many things that you can do on one.
I was doing front raises with the barbells the other day.
Yeah,
because I didn't feel like doing
like preloaded barbells, or
no, just like a straight bar. Yeah,
I mean that makes sense though. I mean,
it tore my shoulders up.
I believe it. Yeah.
Like I was surprised at how difficult. Which I mean, I always try to do an extended range of motion on all of my stuff. So like getting up like above my head, just above Hale and Hitler.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I think that I use the barbell for so much, and you get so much variety from it that it would just be creatively just stifling to have to program without it. And I do plenty of all season and bodybuilding stuff that's not barbell centric. But
you just get so much out of a barbell that it's kind of...
yeah, we're going to use it for something. You know what I mean? Like, always. So, just is what it is. I don't know that I could get my legs the size I wanted or keep size in my legs with goblet squats up to 75 pounds, to be honest with you. I mean, that's
You'd have to do so many reps. I don't know. I don't think you could actually grow
I don't know if you
your
can do it
legs
efficiently.
Yeah. You'd be doing sets of like 100 or something.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I don't know if I'm doing 100 with a 75-pound dumbbell because it being front loaded, it's going to get in your lower back eventually. But I'm thinking, sets of 25 probably realistically. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the thing though. Like you think about 70 pounds on a barbell front squat. That's what, 15 pounds on each side.
Yeah.
You can do that for a lot with. I mean, I know it's different with a dumbbell. We talked about that last week, but you just think about the total weight. You can do that for a lot.
Yeah, could.
So
I think it'd be hard to.
If it
legs would be the hardest thing to really get fit and grow.
It would probably make all of your other factors other than your legs the limiting factor, and that's why you couldn't grow your legs.
We'd have to get real fucking good at dumbbell lunges and real fucking good at single leg press, probably.
Yeah. Those
two things would be meat and potatoes in that gym, more than likely.
Probably.
Single leg press and lunges,
I guess if you could do some box jumps, that might...
Yeah, I mean, that helps top 2X muscle fiber. I mean, that's, it could help, but I still don't know if it's ideal overall for growth.
For growth, probably not. It's probably more for power, and if you're just trying to get your legs bigger, you don't really need a whole lot of power in your legs.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard to do. But anyway, that's the gym in the nutshell.
We kind of been on tangents all night.
We've talked 30 minutes. And have gotten nowhere.
Well, not nowhere, but...
No, we haven't gotten nowhere, but...
But that's going to make our subject a little shorter, but maybe not. So today we're going to talk about everyone's favorite topic, which is performance-enhancing drugs.
Yeah. Do them into the podcast. Okay.
I think there might be a little more to it than that. Obviously, there will be a disclaimer in the notes, but we are not doctors. We are not giving you medical advice. You should seek out a doctor for medical advice regarding any sort of anything of this sort.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say too, to preface all this, especially if these things are abused, and you're not keeping a watchful eye over the things that we'll probably discuss in this episode. If these things are abused, they are dangerous. Yeah. Like you can kill yourself fucking dead doing these things. 100%. It might be a slow death, but it can absolutely fucking kill you. So
I forget his name. Bodybuilder, was 27 years old. I think
fucking everybody fucking loved the guy. Okay, Dallas McCarver.
Yeah, Dallas McCarver. I was actually listening to what's his name? I just talked to you about him over Instagram. He was on the Mark Bell podcast. Pete Rubish.
Pete Rubish, yeah.
Pete Rubish. He was talking about, apparently they were kind of like, I think they were kind of like friends / rivals because they were like deadlifting the same weight around the same time and stuff like that. He spoke really highly of him, and it's just really sad that he died of a heart attack because he just juiced too much. Like,
yeah, but it can't fucking do it. I mean, enlarged heart is the first thing. I can tell you my resting heart rate on trend versus off of trend is about a 20 beat per minute difference.
Yeah.
And I have a high heart rate anyway, so I'm seeing, off trend, my resting heart rate is probably 85 to 90. On trend, my resting heart rate's 110, 115.
Yeah.
So, like, probably even higher than what I just said. Probably, 25, 30 beats per minute higher. Blood pressure's higher, so much so that I have to give blood, once every 6 weeks or so when I'm on trend. Stuff like that. So, the point of all this being is it can, while it's a huge benefit, it can absolutely fucking be dangerous. And I'll say this, too, another disclaimer. And we know this from our own fucking experience. Science doesn't have to tell me this because I know it to be true. My CPAP helped me more than any drugs ever have. So, like, sleep and food are the two most anabolic things on the planet.
Yeah.
If you're not sleeping well and you're not eating well, I wouldn't expect, you're going to get some gains from steroid use, but I wouldn't expect those things to be optimized if you're not sleeping right and eating right first.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that because I actually saved a post on Instagram. I'm going to pull it up real quick. It was from, what's his name? I'm going to find it as soon as I see it. John Jewett. So John Jewett's a professional bodybuilder, absolutely jacked.
Anabolic genius, by the way.
Yeah, he is extremely smart. And he made a post about increasing performance-enhancing drugs. So this is like if you've already started, obviously. But he had like a guide. So I'm just going to read off this guide real quick because I thought it was really interesting. Step 1 was, do you have all the following: adequate sleep, lowered stress, nutrition is consistent and optimal, and training with adequate volume and effort. And if you said, if you haven't, fix those first, then move on to the next step. Step 2 is, are you in a calorie surplus and seeing body weight increase? Again, no, fix this first. Yes, move on to the next step. Are you in a calorie surplus and seeing body weight increase and not seeing training performance increase across lifts? So if you're not hitting more reps, more sets, more weight, probably need to look into that first. Next step would be, do your health metrics align with allowing for a PED increase? So if you get your blood work done, and if you're not getting your blood work done while you're on, get your blood work done. So if all your markers look good, nothing scary, nothing that's going to make you concerned with having a heart attack, maybe you can consider it. Step 5, lifts are not progressing, weight gain is more body fat biased, all other variables are 100%, and health metrics are positive, then you can increase your PEDs. And I think the big key to that is that he basically went over the fundamentals first. So he's like, make sure your food and sleep are good. Those are the key things there. Make sure your training's good. Make sure that, I mean, if you're gaining weight and like in a positive way, you probably are good. Don't worry about it. If you stall, okay, are your lifts stalling? Because we know that not necessarily there's a correlation, but not necessarily getting bigger isn't always getting stronger, and getting stronger isn't always getting bigger. So you can make progress and stay the same size.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was really interesting the way he put it. And he also didn't say how much to increase, because obviously that's on a personal basis, and probably something you should be speaking with a professional of some sort.
Whether it's somebody like John or your doctor or something like that. Yeah.
But I just really thought that was interesting. I really enjoy the fact that he's willing to like put out this information for people, because not a lot of people talk about steroids. A lot of people are scared. It's the boogeyman.
Yeah, it doesn't get talked about enough. So we've talked about that a lot before. Mm-hmm. Like the scariest thing about steroids is the fact that nobody's wanting to talk about them. Yeah. Because I do believe that to some extent they're the fountain of youth, and if they're used responsibly, they're nothing but positives come from it. Assuming everything is, like he's talking about, everything else is correct first. Man, that blood work, I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, I'm starting with UC Wellness. They've done my blood work. I'll start with them on the 16th. I'll have everything read, and they're going to put me on basically TRT, but it'll be doses and all the ancillary medication I need according to my goals, right?
Mm-hmm. So they're basically going to have you set for optimization. Yeah,
absolutely. And it will be just strictly to optimize my test with just test C or test E. Mm-hmm. Probably depending on my need. I'd imagine that's probably going to be assessed. Yeah. And even, you know, I have a friend that's gone even so much that they found out his progesterone, of all things, was low. He's on a progesterone pill. So, like, they do hormones of all kinds. They help with, like, hair regrowth and shit like that. So, if you've used, you know, Tren too much like I have, like I always had a full set of hair until I started using Tren, going bald now. Just is what it is. But they even help with stuff like that. So, I mean, a doctor is really, really powerful when it comes to all this shit. I'm going to reiterate the same thing John Jewett did, and that's that there's nothing more powerful than the sleep and the food.
Yeah, like, that should be your number one priority before even considering anything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, if you haven't started a cycle and you're thinking about it, you need to get your fundamentals down first. Like, I've had people come to me, been in the gym off and on for years or whatever, and they're like, I think I'm going to get on a cycle. And I'm like, how consistently are you training? I'm in here every once in a while. Like, so you don't have a plan? No. Then why do you want to get on steroids? That doesn't make any sense.
The best thing you can do for yourself is eat and train.
Yeah. Yeah, first and foremost, get your training set, get your food set, get your sleep set.
Yeah.
That's, I mean,
Well, nobody wants to do food and sleep. Everybody wants to sit up all night playing video games. They want to fucking eat McDonald's and fucking get drunk with their buddies.
Mm-hmm.
They want to do a million other things first. Everybody wants all the results and none of the actual fucking work, and that's always the situation. And that's another awful thing about steroids not getting talked about enough is these things they're going to do much for you at all physically if you're not allowing them to work for you. Like you have to do the work for them to do the work.
Right.
Like they can help with muscle retention and stuff if you're not working out and stuff like that. You can see sexual benefits if you're not working out from it, but by and large, you're just fucking
pissing it away.
Guess what's affected by food and sleep as well, though? Sex drive, your blood pressure,
all your health markers.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything that steroids are going to do for you, sleep and food will do first,
right?
And probably do better, even if you're using a lot, like sleep and food. Well, I mean. These professional bodybuilders don't look like that just because they're pumped full of fucking gear. They look like that because
they work hard.
They eat all their vegetables. They eat fucking chicken and rice. Don't have a lot of fat in their diet. They train harder than they eat, and And
on top of
that, they're using steroids. Yeah, I mean it is what it is. But like. I always like to reference somebody like Jared Feather, who won everything there was to win in natural bodybuilding before he ever put a pin in his ass.
Yep.
That guy knows more about discipline, sleep, food, everything else than anybody could before he ever took that step. And look at him now. I mean, he's like,
massive.
I don't know how he's not winning everything now.
He's just his physique is.
He's freakish. Like
I feel like
I don't think he gets enough clout because he's a lighter body weight.
I mean that may be it, but I mean how heavy is Chris Bumstead?
I mean he's like 220, 240
right.
On stage. Like,
but like I mean he gets all this attention. Like he's bodybuilding god, but I mean
I think Jared Feather looks better.
Honestly,
his back to waist ratio, his waist is fucking tiny and he is yoked.
Yeah, he's got a huge
But I mean it's not
back.
the same. Chris Bumstead's in the classic, so,
right?
Chris Bumstead looks like that old like Arnold or Lou Ferrigno body type. I mean, he looks like what classic's supposed to look like to me. Jared Feather though looks like a miniature like Nick Walker or something. Like, he's like he's fucking big.
He is.
He's big. Yeah, I don't know how he's not winning everything because I mean that kid looks good. Like.
I don't know if is he competing right now?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I know he was competing a lot like a year or two ago, or he was getting ready to compete. But I haven't heard anything about him competing here recently. So maybe he just
he's a fitness professional first, a lot like Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike's fucking jacked and get going. He could walk on stage 6 weeks from now and probably win. But I mean, these guys are doctors. You know what I mean? They're important people away from the bodybuilding stage. So. It's just what it is.
Maybe more important to him right now.
Yeah, and that I think definitely bodybuilders use more than we do as powerlifters. It's funny how it affects your strength, but I remember, and I honestly think he was being honest about it because he has no reason not to be, right? Like if you're going to admit your own gear, you might as well tell everybody exactly what you're on. The thing about Larry Wills held all-time world records at 220, 242, 275, and 308 at the same time at one point. At 4 different weight classes he held. And he went on my old coach's podcast that Brandon did with Andy Wong of Juggernaut or whatever. He went on their podcast and said he's just doing 750 milligrams a week of test. You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie to you. Like,
it's kind of hard to believe, right?
I remember, I mean, it is to some extent, but like.
But he's also genetically gifted.
Yeah, we'll get to that here in a second too, though. And he's talked about how much stuff he's done before in the past. And then like Brandon, I remember Brandon specifically said, "Hey man, don't do fucking tren. It's not reliable weight gain for a power lifter. Like you're going to lose a lot of weight and a lot of strength coming off of it. Test is more reliable. If you're going to do anything, just do more tests." And, I remember specifically, he did 750 to 1,000 a week is what he said he did, and then started an oral like 4 to 6 weeks out.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he fucking did. Like, so we're talking about people that are on strongest people in the world on less than a fucking gram a week.
Right.
And I know there's definitely, we have our own experiences with it. There's definitely a case, especially if you're in strongman, for like human growth hormone. When you have to add a lot of size to your frame or add to your frame in general,
Yeah.
Human growth hormone can be really, really, really beneficial. And it also drops body fat. That's the only drug I've ever done where I gained 10 pounds and lost, like 5 or 6% body fat in the process. But I'll be honest with you, and I think I learned this last time. I didn't do tren until the very, very end, and it was just because it was available to me. But I mean, I got stronger than ever just on testosterone this last time. And it was on more than I've probably ever ran, and I run very modest doses. Most of the time, heavy for me is 750.
Yeah.
Light for me is I really have ran between let's see, what's 3/4 a day?
Twice.
3/4 3 times a week. Be 1.5. That's 250, 375. Yeah, I mean, hell, most of the time I've been on 375 a week.
Yeah.
It's barely over a TRT dose. Saw great strength improvement for it because it's fucking reliable. I prefer test E to test C for those reasons too. I mean, I feel like I'm more level and stable, and I don't feel like I dip and dunk as much. But both of them I do 3 times a week at 1/2 to 3/4, and I have done up to a full 3 times a week.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've gotten the strongest off of just
lower dosage.
Lower doses, yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting because that's one of the things I know Joe Sullivan has been saying here recently is do less. Less is more, and we've said that for a while. Yeah. I know Brianni posted her, which is another thing that doesn't get talked about near enough, is women on steroids and their protocols. But she said she was taking 1 IU of growth hormone. I think it was either 5 or 8 milligrams of Masteron, which is basically I think she said the testosterone was HRT for her before she started this cycle. And then she was taking Nectar, which is I think it was choline and carnitine, injectable choline and carnitine, and injectable glutathione, and that's what she was taking. And those last 3 are not anabolic steroids.
They're all peptides.
They're all peptides. They're all legal. Not. I don't believe they're banned in any federations of bodybuilding or powerlifting or anything like that. They might be, but I'm just not aware of it. But apparently those are pretty good for recovery. Expensive because they're peptides, and all peptides are expensive for whatever reason, depending on your dosage, I guess.
They're expensive because they work, and they can be expensive.
Yeah.
No other reason.
Yeah.
But they do work.
But I just found it very interesting because she was like, she'd been on she'd take, I believe she said she'd taken Anavar before, not a bunch of testosterone, but she has taken testosterone before. I know she takes it now for HRT purposes because she did take, I believe she said she took a cycle before, which caused her testosterone to crash. So now she has to have some amount to replace what she can't make anymore.
I'll tell you what people don't fucking think about when they start lists. This is a little bit fucking miserable to pen 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
And then if you're on something that's a really short S or like Tren A, it needs really to be a daily pen or every other day pen, it's fucking miserable.
Yeah.
It's miserable.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks to have to do that all the time.
Needles aren't fun.
No, they're not.
Needles have never been fun for anyone ever.
Fucking, I have no fear of them. I almost fucking kind of like it. And it's fucking miserable to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm covered in tattoos, man. Like,
yep.
I'm one of those guys that can watch them take blood, don't have a problem with it, And I'm telling you, it's even for somebody that's not scared of needles, it fucking sucks.
Yeah. I can't imagine
3 times a
someone
week.
scared of needles trying to have a cycle.
Yeah. It's a pretty common fear, right? Like, I don't know. Well, I've definitely figured out less is more, and also this shit will fucking make you go crazy if you're taking too much. Masteron specifically is anything DHT derived. Masteron, Winstrol, shit like that in that family makes me batshit fucking crazy, especially in heavy doses. I've done it. I ran a cycle of Mast-E, Tren-E, and Test-E one time, and it was 1.5 milliliter pen 3 times a week. and went fucking nuts.
Yeah.
You know, wasn't sleeping, having a lot of night sweats, shit like that. None of my ancillaries were working or keeping me from having those feelings or anything like that, like they were supposed to.
Did you feel like everybody was talking behind your back? Did you feel like everyone was kind of like out to get you?
It's fucking like extreme paranoia, extreme anxiety. I remember the month before I quit, I went like a month on 45 minutes to about an hour and a half of sleep every night.
Yeah.
Just fucking miserable. Awful. But then again, you know, you think about and look, I mean, I can't remember what Masteron is a 100 milligram a shot?
I'm not sure.
So I was taking, but anyway, I was taking 375 a test. I was taking, you know, 150 to 200 milligrams of Tren, 150 to 200 milligrams of Masteron, and felt completely and totally like fucking shit, man. It was miserable.
So that just goes to show you that steroids aren't necessarily going to make you feel better either.
No, I mean, there again, man, like, I got marginally stronger on it. I didn't get a lot stronger. And, you know, by the end of it, my sleep was so tanked. You know, in the middle of it, I pressed like I wasn't real strong back then. In the middle of it, I pressed like 370. By the time, you know, went a month without sleep, I was pressing like 325.
Yeah.
Like, it took a hit. Like, overall, like, there was a point where I had gotten stronger. And then by the time it was over with, I was mostly because of lack of sleep. It's fucking weak as shit by the time I got it over with. It was not ideal.
Yeah.
Period. That being said, too, Masteron's a muscle hardening agent. It is a PED, and you can see some strength gains and some hypertrophic gains from using Masteron, but not so much as you would with like a 19 Nors or testosterone. Like there is no reason for us as strength athletes. If I was a bodybuilder, it'd be fine. But as strength athletes, there's no reason for us to be on a DHT derived drug.
Right.
There's no place really for us for Winstraw or Masteron, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's not. Sorry. Like, I mean, there's probably people that would argue with me about that, but like,
if you like,
it was not necessary. You know?
If you like swapping between bodybuilding and powerlifting, there may be a reason to keep it in your toolbox. But other than that,
and another thing too, you know, a few months later, I ran the same cycle without the Masteron. Fucking fine.
Well, you think about that. That was like 250, 300 Tren and 375 test.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but compared to some other people, like, I was just talking about him, Pete Rubish. He talked about his heaviest cycle was 1.5 grams of test and 1.5 grams of Tren, and it, like, how he survived is beyond me.
1.5 grams of Tren's like he had to have been. It had to be Tren A, and he had to be pinning every day.
Like, I cannot imagine. And he talked about all the side effects he had, most notably acne, and then like just constantly fighting with his significant other, like. He said he always felt like he was going to get in a fight. Like, he was always ready to fight somebody all the time.
Yeah.
And
part of that's anxiety increase from fucking heart rate and and stuff.
So it's just like he's in a constant state of just like
fight or flight, basically. Yeah.
And you know, he also took, like, I think he said he took pre-workout and like drank a Monster and like all this stuff before he lifted. So he's just like this violent force of drugs and caffeine, and I'm like, bro,
he's lucky he's not dead, for real.
He really is. He's actually completely off everything now. Interesting enough, he's kind of gone the Mark Bell. Mark Bell still runs testosterone, more semi TRT, a little over TRT, but Pete Rubish is completely off. But he's also in the running crowd now, so he's like more about being lean and stuff. He's down to I think he's down to 200 pounds. Like, I think he was a 275 lifter.
I feel like it's 242.
It may have been 242. Yeah. It was one or the other. But man, he just talked about, you know, when he started coming off, and this is something that everybody should listen to because it's pretty glaring here. He went from, at his best, a 900-pound deadlift after about a year to a 600-pound deadlift. His bench was close to 500, down to 315. His strength gains did not stay when he came off.
Yeah. That's the beautiful thing about the lesser things. Like your body produces its own testosterone.
But
I don't take as big of a strength hit coming off of testosterone ever as I do coming off a trend or something.
Yeah.
Like fucking tanks my strength to come off of that
the
shit.
harder the drugs you're on,
The further from grace you're gonna fall.
yeah,
when it's
you
over,
might get a whole lot stronger, but when you come off, if you come off, and you should come off of a strong cycle, and I'll kind of give my own opinions on that, but like if you're on a strong cycle, you need to at least scale it back to it. Like if you know you have to be on TRT, that's a different scenario. I understand, because I'm not coming off testosterone, because if I'm off testosterone, then my whole everything crashes. I feel like I can't function like a normal human being anymore.
Yeah.
So I have to, like, my production is just so low that I have to be on at least a TRT cycle.
Right.
But like if I'm on a prep cycle and I'm going hard in the sauce or whatever, I'm not doing that forever. I'm coming off of it, and I know I'm gonna take a hit, but
I'm gonna spend my 10 weeks on it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like that's I'm gonna do my vial, 2 vials of whatever things I'm on per compound, obviously, and that's all I'm fucking doing.
Yeah.
Like I don't fucking want to. I'm bummed about having to be on TRT because it sucks to pin every. I pin once a week, and it fucking sucks. The whole thing's kind of a fucking hassle. I've made really, really good gains in the off season completely off of it though.
Yeah.
And come back when I get on, it works better. It makes me feel a little bit better, stuff like that. Like, I don't know, man. I'm a big fan of the less. I'm definitely in the less is more crowd.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree, because it goes back to what we were just saying. The more you take, the more, not only is it going to be worse when you come off, if you choose to come off, and if you don't choose to come off, and you're not seeing progress, well, your first thought is going to be, well, I need more. You can only take so much more before you kill yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about like Ben Pollack. What was his heavy cycle was 5 to 8 IUs of HGH and a gram of test a week.
I think so. Yeah.
So I mean that's 4 shots of test a week. And that's a pretty good lick on growth hormone just on expense.
Yeah.
But it's not the dosages you hear about people taking.
Yeah.
Like I made great gains on growth hormone with no side effects from it on 2 IUs a day.
Yeah.
Great gains on 2 IUs a day. And
the interesting thing about growth hormone is that you don't really lose anything that you gain off growth hormone.
Yeah, I mean, it stays with you.
Now
I'm noticing that now because my ability to lose weight is a little bit harder. Not completely because of diet, is because after I took growth hormone basically to permanently put myself in the 270s. I had a hard time for a little while. My body weight as a powerlifter has mostly been in the 250s or 260s. I had a hard time maxing out my weight class. I took growth hormone. It put me into the 270s. I lost body fat percentage doing it. And then when I quit growth hormone, it was easier to push my weight up to 280, 290, 300. Like a lot easier. Like it's been easier since. But it makes you just a bigger fucking person in general. I felt physically taller when I was on it, whether or not I was or not doesn't matter. I definitely got a lot more broad. Waist got smaller, shit like that. It's pretty cool. I would honestly say I could do it the rest of my life and only take tests and growth hormone.
I honestly think that is probably the most, like, and not to be about that crowd, but the most optimal thing you can do as far as like performance enhancing drugs. Like,
well, I think especially if you're planning on doing it long term and you don't want to die young.
Yeah. Now, if you're gonna go pedal to the metal, you don't care if you die at 50.
19 doors are pretty awesome. Trim will make you fucking strong.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll make you fucking strong. It is like fucking piss and vinegar, constant fight or flight, like he's talking about. Yeah. But I'll be honest with you, mentally, Trent's always been kind to me. I feel really good mentally on Trent. Physically is the problem I don't like on Trent.
I've never had any mental side effects from taking anything personally. Now, I've never been into anything super heavy. Have you messed
around with a DHT drug? It's pretty common for them to have,
maybe
psychotic effects on people.
Because the only thing I've ever taken...
MPP's Norse 19, isn't it?
Is it? I'm not sure. I think that's a... I want to say it's in the same family as D-ball.
Okay. I don't know.
No, it's the same family as DECA.
Okay. That's North's not team.
Okay. The thing about MPP is it has less of the sexual side effects that DECA has. Because if you haven't heard of DECA before,
yeah.
It's
For the record, Trent didn't give me any sexual side effects other than
wanting to run your dick through a wall.
yeah, you want to run your dick through a wall, and I guess this is a benefit for some people, but delayed climax, like, which isn't necessarily a problem. But outside of that, you really do want to run your dick through the wall.
It can be frustrating sometimes. It can be frustrating, but So there are a lot of things to think about before you ever even start any of this, because like we just talked about, there's you can get some really good benefits out of it. You can also screw your hormones up really bad.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we've done it very, very conservatively. We've done that. We're talking about me and you are never coming off TRT. I'm not sure, though, because of mental health benefits, I'm not sure that I ever want to come off TRT.
That was the main reason why I ever even started, was because I was, and I think I've said this before on the podcast, I was in such a bad place before I started. It was kind of like, I need something to put me in a better position mentally. And the only other thing I could have done at the time was go to therapy, I guess. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't go to therapy, but I personally it's not that I don't believe in it. I can't picture myself going to therapy.
Yeah.
I'm very internal. I solve my own problems. Most of the time, that works. When I was in this state of depression, which is the worst depression I've ever been in my life, I couldn't see very far into the future.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't, and I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Like every day was a question of, do I want to keep living?
Yeah.
And as soon as I started taking, I noticed a difference. And it was like, oh, you shouldn't see anything until like 2 or 3 weeks.
Probably the end of the ester. Basically, what we told you.
This was when you should really see some sort of like noticeable change. Mentally, I don't know. I felt so much different, so much better instantly. My confidence was better. Like, I remember first time I talked to you, was that like 2019, maybe 2018, somewhere around there.
Maybe.
Very little confidence in myself. Didn't want to talk to anybody. Was not open. I'm still an introvert, but like I'm a lot more open to talk to people, like just random conversations with people. Like, I feel like as a person, it has just made me better. Like, in every aspect.
But think about how much this stuff gets shit on. People just don't consider the benefits of this stuff.
Yeah.
But man,
they only see the negatives.
Yeah,
and I mean, there are.
Stories fucked with my baseball. Fuck, man, they play 152 games a year, whatever the fuck it is. Baseball fucks with your baseball. like, it ain't that fucking big of a deal. It really ain't. I mean, it's like, and they're so short-sighted about all of it. Honestly, like, their view of it is cheating. It's only cheating if it's against the rules in your sport. Yep. It's not against the rules in our sport.
No,
it's not against the rules in bodybuilding unless you go seek out, a natural show.
You know what else it's not cheating in? Life.
Yeah.
I don't understand, because there are people who are prescribed this. Are you going to tell me that somebody's cheating because they are prescribed testosterone?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what kind of getting to is people forget that all these things. Now, some of these things we're talking about are veterinarian originally, but all these things served a medical need before they were abused. It's no different than. What's funny is some of these people that fucking will talk shit about anabolics are probably, a minor surgery or two deep and addicted to prescription painkillers, and they want to talk about that fucking cheating. Like, fuck, I want to walk around high all day. Why ain't you cheating? you know what I mean? Like, you're the one fucking cheating, motherfucker. Like, I'm living in the real world. You're in fucking, Alice is in Wonderland all the time. Like, calm the fuck down. Like, I'm not cheating. You're just bypassing the real world all the time.
Yep.
You gotta take your fucking pain pill and just fucking forget about all your fucking responsibilities every day. Fucking be a fucking shitty parent and fucking, risk your job and everything else so you can so your knee don't fucking hurt. Motherfucker, our knees hurt all the fucking time. My hip hurts all the time. My hip hurts sitting here. My hands hurt sitting here. Like, What are we talking about? Us cheating, motherfucker? You're fucking cheating. You know what I mean? Like that's it. I mean that's it.
Yeah.
Like, you're the one. You know, don't fucking tell me if you're fucking popping Lortabs all the fucking time, Percocets. Fucking, I have anxiety. I understand if you're on a benzodiazepine. You fucking, but if you're taking fucking Xanax, Klonopin all the time, you're fucking coasting through life, bud. Like, you are. Like, honest to God, you're the fucking cheater.
Yeah.
Like, been there, done that. Like, it's fucking funny people's view of it. But because it came from their doctor, oh, it's okay that I take this every day. I have to because my back pain.
Yeah.
Maybe your back wouldn't hurt if you'd fucking shoot some tests and do some blood lifts.
Right.
Maybe,
like, maybe if you trained a little bit.
Maybe if you took care of yourself in any shape, form, or fashion.
If you got off the couch for more than like 10 minutes at a time, you might feel a little better. Maybe if you went on a walk. Maybe if you went on a 15-minute walk every day, you'd feel better.
I think you're fucking going to do that.
No, they're not. They're going to sit at their desk and hunched over on the computer, typing away because they don't want to do any manual labor. And it's interesting to me that, like, all these trade jobs are so, like, nobody wants to do them.
They're the
in
people
such
getting
demand.
paid.
But,
they're the people getting paid.
Right, but everybody wants a desk job. So they can sit around and be
My best
lazy.
friend has no fucking college education. He is a smart man, for the record. That's not a shot at his IQ. He's a fucking smart man. I'm in business with him for a reason. Has no college education, is a hard worker, owns his own trade business, and makes as much money as my wife does, who is, well, she's incredibly talented too in her own right. But he makes as much money as she does, and you know, she's a 4-year college grad, an engineer, and is like the 6th most important person in her company. You know, like nationwide.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's nobody swinging a bigger figurative ding dong than my wife is. And my best friend, who's a contractor, makes as much money as she does.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, I mean, there's something, but that's just not like monetary reasons. There's just something to be said for hard work. And he doesn't work a bit more. Well, you know, manually he does, but you know, his job's not a bit more stressful than Sandy's is. It's not. I'm not taking shots at my wife. My wife works very hard worker. Sandy was suited and has the brain that is suited for an academic / creative job, and as an engineer, she gets to be those things. Not all of us have that. And manual labor is a viable option for most of us, let's be honest. And nobody fucking wants to do it.
Because everybody wants to sit down. Everybody wants to do the least amount of work, quote unquote, least amount of work for the most amount of money.
I'll be damned if somebody tells me I'm cheating because I'm on gear. Motherfucker, I will work out circles around you. Come work out with me.
Yeah.
Find the fuck out who's fucking cheating in
Right.
the rain.
Oh, well,
Like,
they just blame it on the gear, though.
Oh,
The only reason why you can do this is because you know that's my favorite
motherfucker,
excuse.
my work ethic was like this before the year. Like,
Right.
I'm addicted to being here. If gear draws up tomorrow, I never find a plug for it again. I'm still going to be in this fucking gym, and I'm still going to be out working your fucking ass. Period. Maybe I have to sleep a little bit longer. Maybe I have to eat a little bit more,
or better,
more clean it up a little
yeah.
bit. You know what I mean? Whatever I have to do, but like, I'm still going to outwork your ass. I'm still going to be stronger than you. And all that could be fixed if you were willing to do the same amount of work.
Yeah. But they're not. They don't want to do the work. And it just, like, my favorite thing, like I said, when they make that excuse of, well, if I was on gear, well, get on gear.
Get on gear and find the fuck out.
Get on gear.
Fucking come on over here. The problem is you're not going to leave your fucking bicep curls long enough to get under a fucking squat bar and find out if you're fucking as strong as me or not.
Yeah.
I'm glad you can curl those fucking 60s, dude. Good fucking job. Like, you know, like, I don't give a fuck. Nobody else gives a fuck either. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, I'm still going to fucking drag your ass, and it's all there is to it. And what's funny, too, is these conversations are not had between me and you who are on gear. We don't have these conversations. Talk to somebody else that's on it, you know, respected people that I've been around and stuff, you know, stuff like that. We ain't having these conversations about, oh, you're cheating, or
right. Oh,
you're doing this because
you're taking more than me.
Like, you're only stronger than me because you're taking more than I am. Like, nobody that's on it and actually doing work is having that conversation.
Yeah. It's usually just, damn, you're doing a lot of work, man. Like,
that's it. Left to it.
It could be, I mean, some people who are a little conceited may say, oh, well, they're more genetically gifted than me. And maybe they are, and maybe there's some truth to that.
There's not
like,
a thing, a person, an excuse that can't be outdone by hard work.
Yeah.
Period. If you're willing to fucking work on it, we've talked about before, my biggest problem in the gym and out of the gym is my unwillingness to work on my nutrition. Well, and you're really good at it. If I want to be as good as you, guess what I'm going to have to do? I'm aware of that. I don't have to have you tell me. We ain't got to argue about it. I don't have to sit here and make excuses for why you're better than me. I know that that's a big part of it. You know, you're being a little bit younger is actually a part of it. But like, I'm not doing some of the things that you're willing to do. Until I'm willing to do those things, I have no right to criticize you or say this is why you're better or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not willing to do the work,
don't complain.
Don't fucking sit around and talk about what ifs.
Yeah, but they can do it behind a keyboard.
Yeah, those motherfuckers are still going to be like, well, I'm better at you in this and this and this, but I can't squat because I hurt this in my sophomore year of high school playing, third string defensive back for a 3A football team. Like, no, you're just a fucking pussy.
Yep.
Period. I don't care. Great, you can leg press 1,000 pounds to a fucking 3-inch range of motion. Like, I don't fucking care. You will never catch me with that many plates on a fucking leg press machine. I have yet to figure out why anybody does. I get a perfectly good pump. I fucking squat more than I leg press. Like, I get a perfectly good pump out of 2 or 3 plates, a full range of motion, and like taking my time.
Yeah,
like,
you can milk those so much too. Like, the most I've ever done was like 5 or 6 plates. And that was when I was like really training leg press, and I was always bringing my knees to my chest. Like, every time I was making no concessions when it came to depth, like the amount of work I was willing to put in. And there'd be people coming in there and they'd be like, "Oh, you're leg pressing. Let me throw like 6 more plates on there and do like a quarter of the range of motion that you're doing." And I'm like, "Okay, you're getting a quarter of the hypertrophy that I'm getting." So
I don't fucking get it, dude. Like, people are.
It's an ego thing.
It is.
It's just an ego.
And honestly, I think at the end of the day, what drives most people to doing gear is ego too.
Yeah.
My best friend, again, he was the person that taught me into getting on gear. It wasn't an ego thing with him. He knew that I was having mental health issues. He knows probably more than anybody does about stuff. I confide a lot of personal things in him, and he was the first person to say, "Hey, man, like this, when he was incarcerated, he didn't get it, and he managed to get really strong without it, and he'll tell you he was brutally strong without it, and I believe he was. But he was like, now that it's available to me, there's very few things that help me mentally and help piece my life back together like this does. And he was fucking right, dude. I mean, it was a fucking good decision, and it was, I would say that I enjoy the mental benefits and the everyday life benefits of using gear more than I do the gym benefits of using gear.
Definitely.
I have seen good gains without it.
Yeah.
Hell, up until I found out that I had to be on TRT all the time, I would do my whole off season off of gear. Like, I would spend 6 to 9 months out of the year off.
Yeah.
So, like I said, man, I mean, there's so many benefits to it if you're going to use it responsibly. People just don't fucking get it. You're always going to get criticized by somebody that knows less and works half as hard.
Or doesn't work at all.
We talk about this all the time. The majority of negative criticisms always come from below. They never come from above. Yeah. Somebody better than you is never going to say, "Oh, you're only getting good because of XYZ." That's only ever going to come from above. I'm from below, dude.
Unless it's Derek.
Well, yeah, he like busting people's balls, but like.
But also, he probably wouldn't say anything about you being on gear because he's on gear.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't fucking care. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, and he wouldn't do it seriously.
No,
I think he's not just going to get in your comment section and just fucking grill you without fucking knowing exactly what he's talking about, or every time he's been on somebody's ass. And I hate to say this because Juwan's a hometown hero, and I hope he does good. But every time he's been on somebody's ass in the comment section or something, it's been fucking warranted, or it's been not valid. Warranted, but valid.
Yeah.
He's an asshole for no reason sometimes, but he's had valid points every time he's done it. I don't think he's going to come after me and you because we took our 1,500 pound total to a 1,700 pound total.
Right.
I don't think he's going to say, "Hey, you're only getting good because you took 200 more milligrams of this every month. He might say 1,500 pounds, 1,700 pounds. It doesn't matter. You're still a fucking bum.
Yeah.
Like
that's probably
what he would say.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care what you total. I totaled 2,200. You're a fucking bum. Like that's it. That's probably what he would. That's the most you're going to get out of the guy. But he's not going to criticize the work you're doing, the gear you're on, the food you're eating, or anything like that. Yeah. Those comments only ever come from below.
Yeah.
And again, like those I could be as strong as you if I were on gear, people.
Probably couldn't.
Fucking do it. Pull up and fucking do it, bud.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking cheap habit either.
Mm-mm.
Good luck fucking have fun affording it.
Yeah. I mean,
it's cheaper. I'll be honest with you, it's cheaper than over-the-counter supplements.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know they can get a 20 milliliter vial from Purple Panda Labs for $25.
I don't know if we should say that out loud.
Oh, I did. You know what I mean? Like that's cheaper than your fucking creatine. It's cheaper than fucking protein powder.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than a lot of things. I mean, it is what it is, and it comes with a lot more mental health benefits.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
obviously, if you're outsourcing your testosterone,
also
you got to be careful.
People that are going to criticize us, and I've quit using this thing that I'm about to bring up. Well, I've at least quit using it in extremes. I still will use occasionally. People that are, how many of these fucking people that'll criticize us for using gear, are fucking chock full of fucking a scoop and a half, 2 scoops of fucking pre-workout before they go. That's as hard on your liver as gear is. 30 times worse on your heart. It doesn't do you any favors. It has, it's basically got a shit ton of diuretics in it. It doesn't do anything for your hydration. You're going to spend half your fucking time on the fucking shitter by the time you take a bunch. And I know you still take some pre-workout, and that's fine.
And I always shit before I work out.
Yeah, always.
Or in the middle.
Clean you out. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like, but it's fine. You know the repercussions for taking that shit. I'm not criticizing you for taking it. But how many motherfuckers are going to criticize us for being on gear and then in the same fucking breath, like dry scoop a couple of scoops of 400 milligram pre-workout and be like, this isn't healthy, you're cheating. And then fucking like, all right, you fucking meth head. Like, whatever you say. Like, hey, I'm going to be the one that dies young.
Right. Yeah.
Just keep fucking taking that shit, bud. Like,
yeah. And being an owner of a supplement store, that says a lot because you're basically saying, hey,
my bread and butter is selling pre-workout.
Be careful about how much you take at a time. That's the key.
Well, let me tell you something. I can't sell you pre-workout if you're dead from taking pre-workout.
Right?
Truthfully,
probably doesn't look good for, if the article comes out, local person dies from taking too much caffeine.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard stories of people going to the emergency room mostly because of panic attacks and shit from having too much pre. But I mean, the shit could kill you. I mean, listen, like Red Bull kills people, and it's got like 100 milligrams of caffeine in it. These pre-workouts, like, I probably only have 2 or 3 on my shelf that's less than 400 milligrams. I have one on my shelf that's 450 and has 3 other stimulants in it as well as caffeine. Like,
everybody's looking for the next high, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you want to criticize me for being on gear, but like, you're killing yourself much fucking faster. I know the same people that are fucking stem junkies and taking a scoop and a half, 2 scoops of pre-workout before their workout have already had 3 or 4 monsters that day, or 3 or 4 coffees. And pre-workout can be performance enhancing in the moment. It's not long-term effects. It can help you get through your workout. I honestly think beta-alanine honestly helps me a little bit. It helps me a little bit with strength. It's probably placebo, but I like that burning engine feeling. If I take something today, most of the time it's a pump with some beta-alanine in it. Pumps are good for your heart, by the way, unlike caffeine, because they're vasodilators instead of vasoconstrictors. That's why they're a pump. They make your veins bigger. But, you get these fucking criticisms from people that are taking that kind of shit. I'm like,
right. It's like
that, or some fucking fat fuck drinking Mountain Dew and eating Doritos. Steroids are going to kill you. So it's fucking Mountain Dew and Doritos, bud.
Yep.
Like, enjoy.
Yeah, I think we covered pretty good bit. Is there anything else you want to add as far as like pros, cons? Stuff to think about.
I honestly believe this, and this is not me talking out of my ass. If you're going to do them responsibly, if you're not doing a fucking gram a week right off the fucking cuff, if you're not fucking I'd probably have some stronger opinions about orals. I don't know that if you're not a strength athlete, I don't see a lot of benefit of taking an oral and putting yourself at risk.
I will say, and this is just quoting Dr. Mike. He recommended, if you're going to get started, to try an oral, and he didn't say whether it's bodybuilding or powerlifting or strength sports in general. He said try an oral first because it gets in and out of your system so fast.
And there's less investment in terms of time, not necessarily money, but in terms of time. Like, you ain't got a pen, you ain't got to take out time of your day. Most of us in the gym are taking probably at the very least a multivitamin, if not a slew of other vitamins. Adding one pill to that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Most of them's an 8-hour half-life. So they're out of your system, and that means they're completely out of your system in 16.
Yeah.
So in a day or two's time, you're going to feel normal again. Like, that's probably wise advice. But I mean, they come with, they're a little harder on your heart. They're a lot harder on your liver.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of side effects you deal with an oral. I'm not sure I would mess with one, honestly, if outside of peaking.
Yeah.
And maybe we need a bodybuilder, a good bodybuilder, to speak more on the benefits of an oral in bodybuilding. But just sitting here thinking about it, I don't know if there's a lot of benefit.
There may be some benefits to drying out.
That's fair.
I couldn't tell you which specifically because I don't really take anything to dry myself out, so I couldn't tell you.
Well, we wouldn't because we're strength athletes.
Right.
Yeah.
But as far as getting on stage, something to dry out would probably be the only reason why I'd see a bodybuilder taking it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know that I can think of. We're speaking mostly to powerlifters here too. I don't know that there's a lot of benefit for us taking an oral outside of peaking.
Yeah.
And like I said, other than what you just mentioned, I'm not sure if there's any benefit at all to a bodybuilder taking orals often. Just is what it is. Maybe on a bulk, trying to get some weights up and stuff like that.
Could be. Yeah.
Maybe certain compounds, like I said, if you're drying out, but I don't know. But I'll say, other than orals, if you're going to inject an oil, I think that it probably has more. I think there's more reward than risk. I'll be honest with you, if you're using it responsibly.
I would say I would agree with that with testosterone specifically.
Yeah,
I don't know that I would say anything about any other type of drug other than
that's a good point.
Growth hormone. There will be benefit
when it comes to testing growth hormone. I see more reward than probably more so with growth hormone, but I see more reward than risk if you're going to use it responsibly.
I would say that growth hormone will probably give you more like physical and health benefits, but it won't give you the same mental benefits as testosterone would.
Yeah, the testosterone's it's clinically proven, and there's doctors you can follow and listen to on YouTube, and we don't have them ready to tell you who they are, but if you suffer from, I'm diagnosed with CPTSD, anxiety disorder, and major depressive disorder. If you suffer from those things, testosterone is clinically proven to be better at helping men with those issues than an SSRI. And it comes along with a lot less side effects. If you've never taken I've been on sertraline, and the sexual side effects from sertraline are permanent. So, like, while they can be lessened after you come off, if you experience like ED and stuff on sertraline, like I did, the chances of you being on Cialis or Viagra the rest of your life because of that is extremely high. So, with an oil, with an exogenous hormone, if you experience those things, they're probably temporary, and the vast majority of them are going to help you with that.
Yeah.
Like, and let me tell you something. What's a real big fucking bummer about being depressed and on an SSRI is the last thing you want to do for your confidence is not be able to fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's like the last thing. So, like, you're already taking depression, and life in general is already punching you in the fucking nuts from that. Then all of a sudden you can't do something that's primal and necessary to every human being. And it's something we should enjoy in a healthy way. We have that taken away from you. That's another level of mental health issues that you have to deal with now. So, I would say, these things definitely test in HGH. Probably not necessarily getting to those things, although Trend is very mentally kind to me. Far less invasive, destructive side effects than even an SSRI.
And I think my argument would be that the body naturally produces those already.
They don't naturally produce an SSRI.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
Also, I mean, you're gonna get the benefits of just, not just the mental benefits. I mean, it's still mental, I guess, but you get the benefits of feeling more confident. You're gonna be stronger. You're probably gonna feel sexier. You're probably gonna feel more like having sex. Mm-hmm. We've already talked about some kind of crazy benefits of Trend as delayed climax, and depending on who you are in your sexual situation, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. I realize that, but in responsible doses, even stuff like that. If you're doing a liver support, you're not abusing it. Even that's relatively safe. Mm-hmm. You do still have to worry about an enlarged heart, but I got news for you on that. Athletes of all types, on and off drugs, suffer from enlarged hearts.
Yeah.
Your heart is a muscle, and hypertrophy is just like the rest of your body does. So if your heart works hard and works hard often, it's going to enlarge because it's getting hypertrophic work out of beating faster, more often and more regularly throughout the day. So that side effect is nearly unavoidable on or off drugs if you're an athlete. So it doesn't really matter anyway. Like I said, if you're going to talk to your doctor, get all your blood work done. If everything's going to be monitored, all things being as they should and not abused, far greater reward than risk, in my opinion.
I would agree also. And obviously, like you just said, everything has to be monitored, so you can't just be like jamming a gram and expecting to be okay.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be aware of the symptoms. You have to be aware, you should research all the symptoms first and foremost before you do any sort of cycle. If you're going to do a cycle, make sure you know what to look out for. Look for the signs. If you see something happening, first thing you should do is go see your doctor.
Yeah.
Explain what's going on. Don't just brush it off. Be like, it'll go away. It won't go away. It'll get worse.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10. I mean, it might go away if you reel back your dose. Maybe. If you've got your ancillaries or whatever, and I would say also especially if you're going to be doing a heavy cycle, make sure you have them available because.
Well, that's another thing too that doesn't get talked about enough is ancillaries, man. Like I didn't even know I was supposed to be taking anything until my 3rd or 4th cycle. Mm-hmm. I mean, and honestly, because my first 2 or 3 cycles were all testosterone, and because my testosterone is naturally so low, I probably didn't need an ancillary. But definitely need one when you're on Trend, when you're on stuff like that. I mean, we know about all these things, but a lot of people don't know you're supposed to be taking tamoxifen or aromasin or, right now I'm running Test and Clomid together. They don't know that you're supposed to be taking things to redirect the side effects. A lot of people take, I mentioned these earlier on the SSRI discussion, a lot of people take Viagra or Cialis, which is sildenafil for Viagra, or tadalafil if it's Cialis. Those are really, really good. They were heart medicines first, or they were researched as heart medicines before they found out they gave you a rock hard dick. They were researched as heart medicines first. They're really, really good for your heart because they're vasodilators. Those can be really, really helpful on cycle. I know you're horny as fuck when you're on cycle anyway, but those things can be a benefit because it makes things easier on your heart. Donating blood, really good because it gets your RBC count back down. Hemoglobin comes back down when you donate blood. All these things are things that we know now that I didn't know 3, 4, 5, even 6 cycles in. I was probably 6 cycles in before somebody said you should be giving blood, and I didn't start doing that until this last powerlifting prep was the first time I started giving blood regularly.
Yeah.
Man, so many things that you could know if people talked about it, and that's why we're talking about it tonight.
Yeah.
I don't want y'all to, listen to this and say, Zach and Nathan's on a bunch of drugs and they're irresponsible shitheads. No, we're telling you this because if you're already thinking about it, let's be honest, if you're a man and you're already thinking about it, you've probably already made the decision that you're going to. And we're trying to save you a lot of time, a lot of heartache, and potentially from killing yourself by
taking too much.
By telling you these things, yeah.
You know, not getting your blood work done because, again...
It all goes back to the doctor. Like, you need to be open and honest with your doctor, and you need to talk to him about it. And if you have a doctor that doesn't want to help you, find a fucking new doctor.
Yeah.
Like, we have recommendations we can make about doctors. My family doctor's okay. I'm going to QC Wellness separate of my family doctor for this purpose in general. There are doctors that will help you out with it, and you should absolutely seek them out and use them.
I think I've mentioned it before. Merrick Health. I think they're expensive, but they will help.
Titan Medical out of Florida. They're only electronic consultations. They order your blood work, so you'll go order it and go to like LabCorp, give it, and they'll send them that stuff. But man, there are ways to do this, and you absolutely should, because there's more in your body to monitor than just testosterone and estrogen too. We talked about a friend of mine. I'm not going to mention his name, but was just prescribed progesterone because his progesterone was low. Well, as men, we never fucking are going to think my progesterone is low, or my HCG is low, or some of these other more off the wall hormones that we don't talk about in the gym. But all these things are affected by the use of exogenous hormones. They're all affected by not using exogenous hormones. Like, everything you do affects these. Cortisol. Like, this new doctor I'm going to for this tracks my cortisol levels, which I'm sure are going to be astronomical. If you know me, I'm a very high-strung person. So, I mean, like, there's so many things to know, and we can sit here and talk about it all night, but we don't know it all. We're never going to know it all. So you might as well go to a doctor who does know, probably doesn't know it all either, but at least knows more than you do.
Right.
So that's my biggest advice, is go to the doctor. But I do think the reward outweighs the risk, mostly.
I would agree, as long as you're being smart, as long as you're doing your research, going to the doctor, getting your blood work done. Even if it's a little uncomfortable to talk to your doctor about steroids, it's probably better for your health.
You'd be surprised at how many men, even painfully average men strength-wise, at your local gym, even if you go to a normal Globo gym, are already using gear.
Yeah.
Like, this is conversations your doctor has more than likely heard, and probably heard more often than you'd realize.
Yeah.
You might as well talk to them about it.
Yeah.
HIPAA says they can't tell anybody anyway, so your secret's not going to be out if you don't want anybody to know.
Right.
You ain't got to be like us and just announce it to the whole fucking internet. You know?
Well, the whole internet?
No, the 10 of the internet that listen to us.
The 10. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah. I think we covered everything pretty well. I don't think there's anything...
Dad jokes?
Yeah, I think that's all we got
I don't
left.
know if I have any dad jokes ready.
Man, I saw some good ones. I always see like good ones when I'm scrolling through, and I'm like, I need to save that for the podcast, and I just don't.
I've been trying to branch out and find things that's not on Dad Says Jokes.
Oh, man.
But,
Dad Says Jokes. It's the best.
Yesterday at 8 o'clock, it was very time consuming, especially when I went back for seconds.
I read a horror story in Braille. I could feel something bad was about to happen, but I didn't see it coming at all.
That's good.
I saw that one the other day, and I was like, yeah, I like that one a lot.
Oh, man. That's so good.
Why didn't Han Solo enjoy his steak dinner?
Why?
It was chewy.
It was chewy. He probably ordered a steak well done, you fucking communist. And Han's better than that. He wouldn't order it well done.
Is Harrison Ford better than that?
Has to be, man. People that eat steak well done should just be... We may have to go back to the whole conversation. I don't want to hear you talk about anabolics or how strong you are if you eat your steak well done. You're a bitch. If you eat your steak well done, period. If you eat it with ketchup, you need to be fucking shot.
Are they a bitch? Because they gotta have some strong jaws to eat a well done steak. It's like a boot.
There ain't no goddamn way they're a decent person. there's no way that's somebody that you want to spend time with.
That's fair.
I mean, I can sit next to somebody eating a medium steak.
Yeah. I like a medium steak, honestly. Medium rare is typically what I go for.
I want medium rare. On a sirloin or something, I want rare, but on a fattier steak, I want some fat char, so I'm going to eat medium rare. And if it's medium, I'm not sending it back. If it's beyond medium, you can kiss my whole asshole. I could have done it better at home. You're going to bring me another steak, period. This is what it is.
What do you call a reluctant potato? A hesitator.
Hesitator. I told Sandy that one the other day, and I felt like there was a pretty heavy eye roll associated with it.
Oh, I thought it was good. I don't know, man.
Why do actors say break a leg? They all want to be in a cast.
They do, don't they? There is a real thing about that, right? Why they say break a leg?
I don't know, bud.
I think there is. There's a reason.
I'm sure there's a story behind it. Originally, but I always hated hearing that as a musician. Fucking break
a leg.
Break a leg. Fuck, that's just one of those cheesy, like just fucking old man, like. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't use double negatives. They're a big no-no.
Big no-no. I'm all invested in this break a leg thing. I gotta find.
We're researching what break a leg came from. When we make pizza at home, it's my wife's job to shred the cheese. She's the greatest. I'm really satisfied with that one for some reason.
I just made pizza today. So
I know. Who grated the cheese?
Oh, it was shredded. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. It says if you tell an actor to break a leg, you're wishing them the opportunity to perform and get paid.
Okay.
What the fuck?
I got an Austin Blair special here. My friend Joe went on the Dolly Parton diet and made Jolene. Ugh,
that one's
my
rough.
head hurts.
That one's rough. I'm still mad about this.
I've been telling people about the benefits of eating dried grapes.
Are you raising awareness?
I am, in fact, raising awareness. By the way, I like fucking raisins.
I got some Raisin Bran. Desi won't eat it because she doesn't like raisins.
She don't like raisins?
She don't like raisins. She don't like
apparently,
much.
Apparently, I've found out recently, apparently raisins are a white people thing.
She's very white.
She is. She's the whitest person I know. Both figuratively and literally.
I thought I was the whitest person, and then I met her.
I would believe that mayonnaise is probably too spicy for her. That's how white she is.
She doesn't like mayonnaise.
She doesn't like mayonnaise.
But I don't like mayonnaise either.
Yeah, I like mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise is just kind of gross.
She eat hot things? Yeah. She like spicy?
Yeah. She'll eat buffalo wings.
How spicy, though?
Probably not super spicy.
She order mild or medium?
I don't know.
Yeah, well.
I don't eat spicy things either, though, typically.
We have a good thing she doesn't listen to this podcast.
Yeah. Well, even if she did, she wouldn't make it this far in. We're an hour and 30 minutes in. She wouldn't make it that far in.
Oh, shit. My wife took off her shirt and bra during an argument where I was winning. It was a booby trap. Yeah. All right. I think that's probably it for us.
Yeah, I think that's it.
We probably need a more, one day we need to seek out a more intelligent person to talk about anabolics. But y'all be safe. That's the biggest thing. Don't do stupid stuff.
Don't be stupid. Do your research. Even if your research comes from Reddit, it's better than no research.
And I'll say this too. If your decision is to not do them.
Okay.
That's
fine.
You don't have to. One, you don't have to announce that to the world. Nobody gives a shit that you're natty. And two, you're people that are on are not worthy of your criticism just because they're doing something that you're unwilling to.
Yeah.
Period.
I think one, and we're kind of running again, but I think one interesting thing that I had ever heard about it was that some people are unwilling to take that step to be better. Some people are willing to go and do what they have to do to get to the point that they want to be at.
Yeah.
If you want to be the best deadlifter in the world,
you're going to do it drug-free.
You're not going to do it drug-free. There's no way. I don't care who you are. You could be the greatest athlete to ever live. You will never do it drug-free. Period.
Yeah. You won't. For those of us where we're in sports where it's not against the rules to use them, it's use them or get left behind.
Yeah.
Period. One more reminder, heard me and Nathan say this before. Powerlifters out there, drug tested does not mean drug free.
That is accurate.
Just keep that in mind. We'll leave y'all with that. That's it. Bye. Bye. Bye, guys. Bye. Later.